Hey everybody, happy Monday morning. So we did our prenatal class on Thursday. And we were talking about some different things. We talk about nutrition, we talk about supplements, breastfeeding, labor, birth, all that stuff in our prenatal class. And one of the topics we started talking about was breastfeeding. And there have been a lot of new moms coming into the office the last few weeks with their babies and stuff. And so one of the things that we get as advice was, and she had particularly asked, she said, okay, so if I'm supposed to be nursing every, say, 2 hours, does it go from 2 hours from the start of the feeding to the start of the next feeding? Is it like when that one feeding is done till I start the next feeding? And I was like, holy cow. I was like, let's just not even talk about how often our kids are eating, feeding, because every baby is different and every woman is different. Because if you have a low breast capacity, you're probably going to have to nurse more often. If you have to produce breast milk, you're probably not going to have to nurse quite as often. And each time you nurse, you might have to nurse on one side during a feeding, while another mom needs to nurse on both sides during a single feeding, because the breast capacity is different. The babies are completely different. And I was just like, honestly, I was like, I couldn't tell you because I've never done that before. And I'm like, as long as your child is gaining weight, as long as they are having lots of wet and dirty that is probably the best thing to do, instead of like taking the advice of like they can only nurse every so often. Don't really go by that, because everybody's different. Go by you and your baby. What is right for you and for that child? I know with my second one, he would probably nurse every half an hour to every hour. And he is still, to this day, 11 years old. He is a snacker. He will eat all day long. So every kid is different. Every woman is different. So really take it as you. Like, it's not necessarily trying to give you guys advice, but it's like, question the advice that you're given, because no two people are the same. No two babies are the same. So you got to kind of take it as what works best for you and baby, so that baby's getting fed and you're not like lowering that milk supply. So hope you guys found it interesting. If you know a mom who's nursing, pass it along to her, or if she's